Wendy. How are you doing?
Very well. How are you doing?
Good. It is so good to see you. It feels like forever.
And it has actually. I mean, literally, just a lot of it through, either seeing you on, some shows or through Facebook or whatever. But yeah, we're totally across the country with you being in North Carolina, and currently we are in Tucson, Arizona. So, and you just said, I guess you have, sort of family, in-laws or something who live here and such. So they're about, probably, you mentioned where they live. And I said, oh, that's about 45 minutes from us. So, we're wintering here. So we're the snowbirds, but the snowbirds who are staying a month longer. So we're hoping to leave in about 2 weeks. So we usually end of April, head back to Wisconsin. But so we are truly, and it's, there's nothing normal anymore, but the weather, it was extra cooler for Arizona in March and April, and now it's extra warm. So we're in the mid 90s, upper 90s right now. So you got to get out early. So have to about and then back in the afternoon.
Tucson is a gorgeous place to be in the winter.
And
in the spring, it's the most amazing thing to be in the desert. And it is the luscious, most densely vegetated desert I've ever seen. But then you get a rain and everything goes whoosh. There's color everywhere. It's just the most beautiful phenomenon ever.
We're enjoying that, and I've got my camera all the time, so I do have a chance to do some biking. We're in a residential area that's for 55 plus, but I sort of describe it as adult day camp. And typically, absolutely everything is closed right now, but at least because the weather is really warm outside, and we do mask up a little bit when we're bike riding, but we're staying in small groups and such, but we are getting out and have the desert all around us, and have places to be able to go for hiking and such. So it's been nice to be able to continue that, and just decided we're kind of in a little bubble here, so you're able to be out and about, but luckily there hasn't been lots of cases of this, whatever this stuff is that's going on around the world here, but we've enjoyed it. But we decided to stay a little longer, and it's worked out well, to do so. Yeah.
Good.
But we end up having family in up in the Phoenix area with some grandchildren there, 2 girls. And then when we get back to Wisconsin, we have grandkids in Madison. So the challenge with some of us grandparents is that if those kids are small enough, which they are, and they are in daycare settings, we can't see them. So we're doing a little FaceTime, but that's tricky with 2-year-olds. Their attention span's really short and all that. But we're at least making those connections that way for now.
That's good. Yeah, it's good. Even that little technology that we have, and like my parents live in far northern Idaho. It's extremely rural. They don't have Wi-Fi and things. They have cell data, but it used to be so bad that we couldn't do a video call with them because there was just horrible lagging and everything. And then they moved to Samoa for a year and a half. And before they went, they got us all on Skype. It was the first time all of us siblings had been on Skype. And all of a sudden, like every day, they'd pop up, "Hi, how you doing?" They're on the literal other side of the world. "Where's my grandkids?"
Oh, wonderful.
It was great. So things have come a long way just since then, and it's fabulous that we can have that. So at least we do have video calling with the grandkids, which is better than nothing.
That is it. That is so important for sure. So have those connections. So I keep myself busy, which we all are. So either, when those afternoons, I've done my bike riding, I've done my walking and stuff. So when it does get really warm here, I end up kind of doing a lot of stitching.
Yeah.
But part of what I've found is most of my stash is back in Wisconsin. So I've started, this is our 6th year coming out here. So I found myself in the fall, I would prep a bunch of projects and then kind of them all packaged, bring them out here, and then I'm ready to roll with whatever it might be. But mostly I've been doing UFOs, and then I am also doing a lot of just really, really simple piecing projects for charity. So, it's that stash busting. I'm not heading to the quilt shop to buy more because it's like, oh my gosh, of course it keeps growing in the cupboards and stuff. But with all of the art quilting that I've done over the years, I really got focused, of course, which we do, on our own specific workshop projects that I was clueless to sort of has been going on in the more traditional, so to speak, quilt world. So
Yeah.
there's some really simple things that that were like new to me 3 or 4 years ago, jelly roll quilts, or the disappearing 9-patch. I mean, these really simple things, but it's actually been just fun because I'm spending so much time. Kind of the challenge is, to just say, okay, what fabrics? Now those jelly rolls, I don't buy jelly rolls, but all the pre-cutting, I'm doing my own cutting of all that stash. And so it just makes fun, and they go together really fast so that they're medium-sized lap quilts for a number of the charities. So when I'm out here in Tucson, there is, and this Saddlebrook community that we're in, there's a very fun little quilt group, the Friday Quilters, and they meet actually every week. So I was really enjoying the fact that for a long time, all the teaching that we do, you get your connections with that teaching. But I wasn't really having a chance to sit down with a group where you kind of have some follow-up with those individuals. So sitting at a Friday morning quilt meeting, I'm just going, oh yeah, this is really great, show and tell. And, it's just been so relaxing.
Just for young girls, right?
And it is enjoyable. So with that, and of course, then you can kind of have a focus, go, oh, well, next week, next Friday, I can be able to get a project completed, and show it for show and tell. So, but,
I'm in a quilt bee that I adore, but I never get anything done. They put me to shame. Like, they're phenomenal. They sew so much, and they get so much done.
Yes. Yeah.
And I just show up because I like being around ladies who like fabric and sewing, right?
Absolutely.
And they're nice. They're nice enough to let me in.
Yes. Well, and back in Madison, I'm in Lake Mills, we're near Madison, but there is a Madison Contemporary Fiber Arts group, which I've been a member of since we've been up in Wisconsin, so like 17 years. And it's a really delightful group where it's fiber art. So you've got a much broader focus than just art quilting. So there's felters, and then there's paper makers, there's weavers and such. And so, and we have almost once a year have like group shows and stuff. So I've been enjoying that and attempting, it's about a 45-minute drive to get there, which in most cases isn't that far to go, but it's a nice group to connect with.
Nice.
And such. So we've enjoyed that when I'm back in Wisconsin. So,
So what have you been? Do you have anything to show us that you've been working on?
I do. So some of it I have found for myself, because in Wisconsin we're trying to sell a larger house. So I've been doing a lot of culling back, and of course we go into closets, and there is one art quilt after another rolled up, put aside, and I'm thinking, okay, haven't been motivated to do that many art quilts, but I do obviously like working small. But it is this idea of UFOs. So recently, with this Friday Quilters here in Saddlebrook, they have a quilt show every other year. And so they asked me to do a little quilted postcard demo. So I'd made up a couple little samples. So here's one. Of course, most of what I end up doing, because we're in the Southwest, is being inspired with Southwest designs. But this one particular one, obviously the little Cocapelli, but I was realizing I have this whole box of stuff, just sort of fused fabrics. And the background of the Cocapelli is all Laura Wasilowski fused fabrics that I put into, a little collage. And so it's sort of fun to say, oh yes, there's Laura's work. And so it's fun like that. So that was just one that I had finished off. And then of course, as we look out, we talked about flowering cacti. So here was just a little fun one to put together that have the cholla on it. And again, working with fused fabric, it can go quickly as we go. This is the perfect time right now to see the so beautiful saguaros in bloom. So it's May. So I was inspired. I was able to last year get some pictures of them. And so I was able to kind of finish that off and just a couple little three-dimensional flowers on the back of that. So working small. This was one actually I had done a little while back, but again, inspired by this Southwest theme. So it was there was a challenge that we had with this little Friday Quilters to do a landscape, and it was my first Arizona landscape, but had fun doing it. So it's got some fun little three-dimensional, those flowers again, and the little, if you think about seeing jackrabbits out there and prickly pear and all that. So it's kind of fun to work on that. Now, a few other things, this whole aspect of UFOs. So I have one behind me that started at the very center of it. I'm going to move to the side a little bit. The very center of this, up in here, I started it 25 years ago at a PACA, Professional Art Quilters Retreat, with Keiko Goke. And I'm wondering if you were in the Chicago area at that time, because we had done the retreat up at the Sienna Center in Racine. It was 2 days.
I think it was right. I was there 99, 2000, and I think that retreat was right after I left.
Okay, so but with that has sat in a UFO bucket, just the very center of it, very odd shaped and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I expanded a little bit with a couple of the borders, and then I had used a couple of those. This as a sample, again, just a sample kind of wall hanging that I was using for a borders class. Coming up with different ideas, and then I thought, well, I'm not doing any more wall hangings. We have no walls, and but no one else does either. So I said, well, at a point, I want to be able to expand it into a larger lap quilt. So I added the black and white, and then I kept going bigger, and so it is now quite a nice large lap quilt that I just finished machine quilting it recently. So it's probably going to go to a new future family member. Our daughter is now engaged, and that future in-law mom lives near them in Albuquerque. So I said, oh, this is perfect. It's got Colors of Albuquerque is the name of it, but that was something that was enjoyable to work on, kind of evolve, and just not just slapping the borders on, but trying to come up with something. So it is those kinds of things. I guess for myself, those are the challenge these days, is pulling something out and saying, well, what could we do differently with that? So, of course, many of us who've taught for years and years, and I've been going through all of those, 18, 20 workshop, the buckets that are left of all of our step outs after step outs after step outs, what to do with something that's in 6 or 7 stages, exactly the same design. So I have been, last summer, I was able to finish off, I think it was about 14 or 15 small little art quilts, and just kind of getting them done. Yeah. And then these ones I brought along here. So I had done a little class that had starts with the original photograph, but these were it's an Oriental poppy, starting with a photograph and such. But I've then had these very small ones. They're only 14 by 16 or something like that. So kind of finishing them off, and this one may have a new home itself, but I've got that one, and then there was just kind of coming up with different borders. So here was another one. And you just kind of keep going on and on and on. So this one's third one here too. So being able to just kind of see how one might finish those off and go from there.
But of course, finish them off.
Sorry.
You know how I finish them off?
Yeah.
I take them to that quilt bee I was talking about and say, here, there's something to play with. And it's phenomenal. Every time I give them, like once I had like a grocery bag full of like little tiny 1-inch squares that back in my days of insanity, I thought I had to save every scrap. And I thought, I'm never in a million years going to do anything with this. 2 months later, she made a king-size quilt out of these. I was like, wait, those are you did something with it? Just, wow. It makes me so happy to see somebody else do something with it. And it's free from me. It's no longer a burden in my studio.
Yeah. last summer with the annual quilt class workshop that I teach, it's a week long up at the Clearing in Door County. I did something like that. I had all these packages and I brought them along. I mean, they were really lots and lots of barely finished things, working
Mhm.
with a variety of texturizing techniques, whatever it was. And I gave them out to them and I said, well, you can do whatever you want with them and, just let them, let them go with it. But that exact same kind of idea, because it is at any point we just have to move it on.
Let it go. Let it
So,
go.
well, I know lots of people are doing mask making, and I've done several sets of those, and gave initially the whole family and neighbors and such, and then
Mhm.
there's a group in Tucson that's called the Operation PPE. They had been making thousands and thousands of them, and I'm now back to making a few more, thinking because there was a couple people back in Lake Mills in Wisconsin who said, "Oh, could I have one?" And so I have maybe about 30 or 40 more. But one thing I had found is I had done most of mine with the tie,
Mhm.
and it had to hand stitch those, machine stitch those ties, and then there was that whole thing about using T-shirts, cutting a strip, 1-inch strip, and then
That's what
using
I've
the
used the
T-shirt
whole
ties,
time. So
and
just
those went fast. Except my husband would only give me 2 T-shirts, so I only able to make a
Well,
few.
you
But
know what I did with other people here who were sewers but not quilters? I said, I have fabric. Give me an old t-shirt. So we just swapped.
yeah, it's a perfect way to do. But recently, then I'm the group that I'm doing now. I'm still using the t-shirt ties, but a friend of mine, I ended up taking and making the ties way shorter, tying them, and then they can
They can
be able to
tie them
slip
at the
over
right length
here
just for the
instead of elastic. So that's this next group of 30 or 40. And then I was able to get twice as many out of this one t-shirt that I would have if they were that long.
nice.
So those are
Very
just
good.
fun things to
Yeah,
be.
I have found that personally, because I wear my mask around anytime I'm out of the house now, which is still
Mhm,
rare. But I
mhm.
think I have like bizarre midget ears or something, because no matter what I tie them onto my ears with, my
Okay.
ears will stick out and then they'll
Oh,
fall off.
oh, okay. So it just doesn't.
Yeah, so I have to do the ties no
Yeah,
matter what.
and I've been wearing the ties too, but even my husband, they're so awkward to do. And it was
Right,
my daughter-in-law who's a vet tech up in the Mesa area and stuff, and she said that the ties were awkward because she was having to take the mask kind of on and
right.
off. So I made this new set, and I had her do a little testing for me, last week. She says, "Oh, they work great." So I kept them
They're
on.
good. Good.
Yeah.
Quilters save the world.
Oh, yes, we do.
Us and
Yes,
our fabric stash. We knew they would come in handy someday.
yeah. I saw that you just last week or late last week had done a virtual class, live
Yep.
class. So was it through a group you had planned to go visit, or
Nope.
was it you
They
recruited?
hired me to do this after the shutdown. Their program chair is very familiar with Zoom and Techie, and she said, "Oh, I can manage this." So she spent several hours getting some of the women the day before the class set up so they can do it, and I was their guinea pig, and it turned out fabulously. Not all of them were. A lot of them were brand new to Zoom, and it still went wonderfully and beautifully, and we had so much fun. I think there are some real wonderful advantages to
Mhm,
to being online together.
mhm,
We still get a lot of the good stuff that is live, but they also are comfortable in their own environment, and
mhm.
they can put their feet up and drink their coffee if they want to, or
Sure.
they can work like crazy, or they can go find just the perfect fabric because they know they have it,
Okay,
instead of
so yeah,
sitting
the
there and
closet's right
going,
next door.
I
Yeah.
wish I had that.
Oh, oh,
There's
okay.
nothing that will ever replace live classes, of course.
Right.
But there's no way I can do that right now, because in my classes we share so much equipment, and
Mhm.
I'm the kind of teacher who is like right up with the people when I'm helping them out. We're so close together, and I can't figure out how to teach them live without doing that.
Mhm.
So it went really well. It went really, really well. I'm looking forward to doing a lot more of them.
Mhm, mhm. good.
It was good. It was
Hey.
good. Well, Wendy, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to chat with me. It has been so much fun to see you again.
Yes, yeah, ditto. So appreciate that. So very good. All right.
All right.
Take
You stay safe, stay
care.
well.
You too. You too. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. Leave a comment and let's have a conversation. I would also love it if you subscribe to my YouTube channel or check out lyrickinard.com where you can find wonderful art and textile related things. Bye for now.